Welcome back to episode 5 of the Hops and Bops podcast. I am producer Tom.
It's your boy Joe.
And I'm Mike.
And today we got a bit of a throwback album. Well, not really, but a throwback for our
me.
other two hosts.
Yes, for us.
Would you like to introduce?
Sure. Today's album, like I alluded to in the promo, is, I guarantee, something no one here has ever heard of before, and I'm proud of that, other than Mike. Yes. It's an album, it's actually an EP called Sirens by a band called Scratch Track.
And we are also going to be sipping on what is my favorite pumpkin beer of the season, Punkin Ale by Dogfish Head.
Excited.
Yeah,
let's
get into
crack
it.
them open.
Let's pop the goddamn top.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Well, thank you.
Let's see.
Good
color.
Look at that clean pour.
Yeah.
You want to talk about your glasses you got?
Yeah, sure. So I chose a glass from Willimantic Brewery Company, Willie Brew, in Willimantic, Connecticut, where we went to college. And I chose that glass because I found out about this band in college. So I thought it would be a nice little connection.
Okay.
Yeah. I have the Incredible Hulk. My kid's been really obsessed with him lately. He's been watching the actual movie with Edward Norton. Mm-hmm. So I just went with the Hulk glass.
Cool.
I got the Angry Orchard one that has a really cool indentation of a really angry old tree. Has nothing to do with the beer, but it look cool.
Yeah, does it count as an indent because it's actually sticking out?
It's an outdent.
Oh,
it's an outie.
Well done. We're on our game right now.
Yes, we are.
Oh,
cool.
The smell of this beer is so good.
This is my second drink of it. I had one pre-show just to get my bearings straight, but this is a great beer, Mike.
Great spices. You can smell the brown sugar.
Oh yeah.
This is fall in a glass.
This is Dogfish Head Brewing Company in Delaware, out of Delaware.
Yes.
And this is their seasonal beer, Punkin, Punkin.
No apostrophe at the end.
And
or M.
See, we're on the good page today. Same page. Some sort of page. This used to come in 4-packs, actually, because it was so highly sought after that they would put it in 4-packs so that there would be a wider distribution, which just meant I would always buy 8 instead of 4. But then a couple years ago, they went to the new label. They went a little more with the purple and the orange. It used to be just orange and black, which is pretty standard.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started going with the purple, kind of like a little darker Halloween theme.
Little guys in the
you got a toad, a mouse.
Toad, a mouse, blimp.
Yeah.
Was that an owl, a toad, and a little mouse?
So this is considered a brown ale, which I thought was pretty cool. Brown ales tend to be lightly hopped, so they're not as hoppy like an IPA would be. And they're brewed with 100% brown malt. So it's just the type of, gives you this kind of amberish, brownish. It's like darker than your lager, you know. It's definitely not as transparent. And this one also has a hint of brown sugar and spices.
Yes.
Which is what you'd expect in a pumpkin pie or something. So you get that flavor, but it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
You get that nice pumpkin taste, you get that nice brown sugar taste, the spices, but it's just very smooth. It doesn't really kind of kick you in the ass and make you, oh man, that's too much. It's just got a really, really nice flavor. And they go with, from what I understand, the reason they do a brown ale with this is because they're usually a little bit darker and they're a little sweeter. And they're actually lower in alcohol content. Which
what's the percentage on this?
So this one's actually 7.
Is it?
It is. It's 7. Okay.
Wow.
Yep. They usually release it on September 1st. So they say August to November. But what they do, I guess, is right around September 1st, they release it. And then basically it's out until it's out. Usually they say about Thanksgiving you're not going to find it anymore. Unless there's just some stray 6-pack somewhere that somebody left hoarding in the back and forgot to put out.
Yeah.
It does go pretty quick. When I've got friends that tell me I'm a seasonal beer guy. I don't like to give up on summer, so I try not to drink these style beers till after Labor Day.
I'm the same way.
It's almost like football and fall beers kind of hit at the same time. I will say this year that Labor Day weekend was the first time I had one of these.
Yep.
A coworker of mine bought me a 6-pack as a thank you for some help I did for him. And actually, me and Tom, we shared one that day, that Friday.
Thanks for the invite.
It was a lovely moment. You should have been there.
Yeah, you know,
thanks a lot.
No, we left you out on purpose.
Yeah, it was a closed event.
It was.
Well, fuck me.
Maybe if you were there, but you weren't.
I live out of town.
This is true. But yeah, this is hands down my favorite pumpkin beer. I thought it was pretty cool that I found out why they named it Punkin Ale.
Do tell.
So a big thing in Delaware is what they call Punkin Chunkin, which I swear to God, it's an event. It's an event.
Do I dare Google this?
You could.
You're gonna find some dirty pictures.
It's an event where they essentially catapult pumpkins.
Yes.
Okay.
I've actually been to one of those events.
Okay.
It was in New York. They had like a big kind of cannon almost.
Yeah.
And you pay money and you just shoot them out into this giant field and see how far you
So this is some kind of event, and this was where it was originally distributed for the first time, put out there, and it was in 1994, and it was actually put out there 6 months before they actually opened the brewery.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So this is like their first beer.
Like one of their first beers.
Cool.
It was interesting. So technically on their website it says it was originally released in '95, but I think that was because that was after they actually became an official company. Their website is awesome because it not only gives you the beer and gives you all the information, but then it also gives you like things to how to drink it, like what kind of glass. So right here you can look through. So it's 7%, released August to November, originally released in '95. What style? It's pumpkin. The color is like an amber to a copper, which we just talked about being a little bit darker. The aroma gives you like a cinnamon and allspice, nutmeg. You get that flavor out of it.
Yep.
Same thing with the flavors. You get the spicy notes of cinnamon, brown sugar, and pumpkin.
Notes.
Notes a little bit, just a little.
I know the fancy beer language.
It's crazy. We got to get there.
Yeah.
The mouth feel.
That's another one.
That's another mouth feel.
Yeah,
mouth feel.
Feels wet.
That could be dangerous.
It's got a very liquidy feel to me.
I think that's consistent across the board.
It's true.
Yeah.
I almost feel like the spices hit you first, and then the pumpkin's kind of the second thing you taste.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You get that brown sugar, that cinnamon,
that's
and
so good.
then you get the pumpkin afterwards. And then it actually says best to enjoy in a pint glass.
Okay.
Check.
Yep.
A check.
Pairs nicely with sharp cheddar.
Uncheck.
Unfortunately, I did not bring the cheese platter for this
Snack
recording.
boy.
All we have is blue cheese.
Yeah, I only brought really good wings and garlic knots this time.
That is true.
Not any cheese. Sorry, guys.
It also pairs well with all of your Thanksgiving favorites. Turkey, roasted duck, lamb, stuffing, and dessert dumplings.
Dessert dumplings?
I don't know what the fuck
I want to know
is.
about that right now.
Well, then maybe you should fucking research it.
On it.
Dessert dumplings.
So they do this for every beer. They do that
their
on their
website has a very specific breakdown. It has all their 2020 releases because there's some beers that come out for the first time or only come out once in a while. They're very, very in depth with it. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
But again, just a great beer. I mean, you can sit and have 2 or 3 of these. It's not something that you're going to drink just one and be like, oh, it's too much or too heavy. There's some other pumpkin beers out there that people like have you mix like the whipped cream vodkas or the fireballs or the different things with. Like I would never do that with this beer. Yeah, it's just so like
flavorful
by it. On its own.
Yeah.
That I just think that would almost be like sacrilegious to mess with that taste by adding something else to it.
Yeah. And I'm not a super big pumpkin beer kind of fan, but I feel like this just kind of nails it with me. It's not, like you said, it's not too overpowering, but it still has that kind of essence of pumpkin, if you will. They definitely nail it on this one. I really enjoy this.
Good.
This has got to be probably the only fall beer that I really have to get. I'll drink other fall beers. I know our last episode we talked about an Oktoberfest that I had for the first time that I thought was pretty good. I don't know. I'm just not one to run out and buy like fall beers because it's fall.
Right.
I'm just not. Never was my thing.
I'm the same way.
But this I have to buy a 6-pack like every couple of weeks. I have to have some until it's out because it's short-lived. It's only a couple months you can have it, and it's just so good.
Yeah, no, this is really good. Yeah, we're keeping with our October fall theme with all of our seasonal beers. This was the first time I've ever had it, and I'm definitely going to be seeking this out from now on.
And it's pretty widely available. It's Dogfish Head. You can get almost anywhere. And if you can get Dogfish Head there, then this beer is definitely there because it's just one of their biggest, one of the bigger sellers at this time of year especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you to Dogfish Head for making this beer. It's really good. And I think we should transition a bit now over to our album of choice, or our EP, excuse me. Yes. Joe, would you like to give us a little rundown of this choice?
I would love to. Scratch Track is a duo from Kansas City, Missouri, and I guarantee that anyone listening to this, unless you've heard of them, you already heard of them, or you have never heard of them.
Or you are them.
Or you are them, yeah. But 98% of people have never heard of them, and I wanted to bring something new, something different to the podcast to give something to the listeners. Hopefully you try something new out. So these guys, they primarily toured on the college circuit, and they came to our school, which I mentioned earlier, our college, and that's where we saw them the first time.
Yeah, we saw them. We got to talk with them a little bit, hang out with them. They were cool guys.
Cool guys. And their sound is, get ready for this, acoustic guitar and beatboxing. That's it.
Yes.
And everything, they add some effects on this EP. There are some effects. This EP actually features a saxophone player, too. He's not a full-time member of the band. But
one of my favorite parts of the album.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
Having the horns.
Yep. But their sound is acoustic guitar and beatboxing. They call themselves acoustic hip-hop rap, which was so new for us and me. But it's just so cool and different, and it's an EP, so it's not a full album. It's only 6 songs, released in 2010. It's a quick listen. So if you are looking for something different to listen to, then I'm going to give you this, and I highly recommend that you check it out.
Yeah, you can almost fit like 4 of these into a love story.
Yes. I know, it's kind of funny that we went episode 5, really long album, to episode 6, a really short album.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for me, I wish that there were maybe 2 more songs on this and keep it an EP. I respect the EP. Wish it was a little longer, but we'll get more into that.
Yeah, I think this is actually perfectly spaced out for what it is. It's not really something that you've never heard of before. It's going to blow your socks off.
Right.
You kind of get what you thought you were going to get out of it, and that's perfectly fine. I kind of appreciate that. It's basic rock duo music with guitar, and you saying it's a beatbox, or is it like a drum kit? It almost sounds like a drum kit.
So it's primarily one of the members he's a beatboxer, and when they play live, it's the acoustic guitar player. And the beatboxing, and he has the loop machine.
Pedals. Yeah, they both do, and they loop them too. Again.
So they play the little parts to start the song. They loop it, and then the song starts. But obviously, in recording, they add some more effects, and there might be some drum sounds. Some of their older full-length albums have a full band sound, but their band actually dwindled in size. They were a trio, then they went to a duo. So since they turned to a duo, they weren't faking it. They stuck, hey, this is us. This is our sound. We're just going to go forward on this. And they kind of kept it raw and kept it open.
Yeah, their first, I want to say this is their 4th album. So they had 3 albums prior to this. And they were longer. They were full-length albums. But you got more of that acoustic feel. You got more of that acoustic duo feel. And then it was kind of where this album hit in 2010, where they really kind of added some stuff like the horn. So for someone who had listened to their albums prior to, it was a big jump because it was like all of a sudden, I mean, that first song comes in, Breaking the Trend, and you're just like, whoa, they didn't even hold back. Like, it's just bam, right off the bat.
Right when that first beat hits, I'm hooked in. I will never get tired of that song. I love that song.
And he's a good vocalist. He's a solid rapper when they come with it. The guitarist is actually a decent vocalist. He's a good vocalist too. It's got a good pairing their voices. And they don't do anything. They don't try too hard.
Yeah.
That's what I like about them is they make really good catchy music without really trying to be overly complicated.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They kind of stick to their guns a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it's weird, but sometimes their lyrics are really good, and then sometimes their lyrics are not so good.
Yeah. Does anybody want to have a good time tonight?
Sometimes like it almost reminded me of like early Godsmack, where it was like, I fucking hate you, and I'm like, really? That's all you have to say? Like everything he said was just very blunt and straightforward. And sometimes I like you to be a little bit more in depth with your lyrics. Like it makes it can change the songs a bit. So some of their earlier stuff I think actually lyrically was better than this album.
Okay.
But with this album, you had more of that kind of, it was a party from top to bottom. It was 6 songs, and in, what was it, maybe 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't even think it was that
21.
long. Yeah, like 21 minutes you had your party and you were done.
I think this episode of our podcast might be longer than the whole
The album.
It will. It almost already is.
It's great. So, like, as a drummer for me, I would play along to this album or EP.
Oh, okay.
A lot,
cool.
and I would try and like write my own parts along the songs. And it's funny when I listen back to it, I'm transported back to that time, and I could hear what I would play. And for me, it was just kind of cool that they left it open to interpretation there for other musicians to maybe improvise over on their own time.
Yeah.
But the sound in itself, that's what they intended it to be. The acoustic and the beatboxing, and yeah, it's just really different. Tom, what'd you think?
So, what year? This was 2010 that this album came out?
2010.
So I feel like a lot of it kind of stems from the sounds that came out of that time. I don't think it's aged super well, but it doesn't have to. It's very straightforward. It doesn't overstay its welcome too much. It's definitely not a style that I would personally sink my teeth into too much, but it was very quick, and there's not a lot of tracks that you can really go super wrong with. But I really do appreciate the beatboxer, because I am a beatboxer myself. I don't know if you know.
Care to give us a little flavor? Wow.
Dude, put me on the next Scratch Track album.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So I really appreciate that. I feel like that's a really cool kind of twist that they put on their own sound. So that's something unique that you don't really hear a lot. But no, I didn't even know that they did that specifically. I thought they just had some kind of drum kit that they got that from, or they kind of just looped someone beatboxing. But that's
Right.
actually what they ended up
Yeah,
doing.
that's
It's really cool.
the beatboxing is one of the members, DJ Lee, and that's his instrument. He lays down the beatboxing live, loops it, and then he sings over it. So
Okay.
yeah, and then Jason Hamlin is the guitarist, and he also does looping as well. That's how they play live.
Okay. But yeah, like you said before, I really had no idea what this album was or who they were. I actually had to text the group chat, if you guys remember, like, about Sirens. Like, oh, is that the name of the band or is that the name of the album?
Yeah,
Or what
right.
is it? So yeah, I had no experience. But for only 2 people in the group, I feel like they have a lot of dynamic range, like you said. The saxophone. I feel like a lot of stylistic change-ups are across this, which I think is pretty good, especially for a 6-track EP. But only even if it's 21 minutes, I feel like we kind of have to go through every track, basically.
Yeah.
So the opener.
I was going to say, well, if you think about it, we're picking our number 1, our bottom, and our sleeper. That's half the album.
Yeah. So I enjoyed the opener, Breaking the Trend. I thought the lyrics were really dumbed down, but it seemed like a pretty fun song. Yeah, and it has that kind of party aspect to it. It was pretty basic song, but there was decent vocal melodies on the chorus that I kind of enjoyed, and the saxophone kind of brought it alive too.
Yeah. So, like we said earlier, the saxophone player isn't a full-time member of the band and wasn't at that time. So, for us, when we saw them, no saxophone. So, to have that now on this EP was another element that we were excited for, and it was a cool addition to have.
Yeah, I thought Breaking the Trend was a great opening.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because, again, it just hit too hard. I agree with you. The lyrics weren't great. And looking past the lyrics, at least for that opener song, it just was very, like, it got you in the mood and it got you into kind of what the album was going to sound like. And it did a really good job of that, I thought.
Yep. And I heard a great blend of all the instruments and the effects, the beatboxing, acoustic guitar, sax. So it's a good representative track of.
And again, it hits you with that sax right off the bat, which you're
Yeah.
not expecting from this band because they never had it before.
Right.
So it was a cool way to be like, hey, we're here. Look at what we got this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like for me, it was really cool because we had discovered them, probably 2 years prior.
Yep.
And a band that no one ever heard of, and we're following them. Like, it was really cool to follow a band that we organically discovered.
Yeah.
And then they put out something new that, oh wow, all right, cool, let's see what they did.
Agreed.
And it was just a cool step forward for them. And then the next song, "Bad for You," another great song. It has like a dirty guitar riff.
Yeah, it's a
Big
little.
fan of guitar riff.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's like I tend to bob my head in like you tend to bob your head in quarter notes. 1, 2. That one I go to eighth notes. You know, you go to every pulse there. So I'm a big fan of that.
On the contrary, I did not like that song.
Did not like the song.
No.
Okay.
I thought that
That's what we do here at the Hops and Bops podcast.
We disagree.
Yeah.
But we agree to disagree.
Right. We do
Or
it
agree to agree.
civilly.
I thought the guitar riff was kind of repetitive after a longer period of time. Because they kind of just repeated that for a decent amount of the track.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've heard that riff before in a song somewhere that I just can't place my my tongue on. So
Do you place your tongue on a lot of things?
Hot darn coke.
So the next track. But yeah, no, I put down that they have like that gritty style of guitar in the track. The horn choices on this song were also pretty complimentary, but it wasn't really for me. But it was not my favorite track.
Do you have anything on that?
I was just going to say that was almost going to be my bottom track. But I went with something else. But that definitely would be like my second least on that album.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out as we go along. Track 3, Renegade.
No, track 3 is I'm Ready.
Excuse me.
I'm excuse me. Hi, excuse me.
That was good.
But then we have track 3. It's called I'm Ready. I'm not actually a huge fan of this song.
Okay.
It has a steel guitar kind of slide feel, which I liked, but I don't know. It was kind of slow tempo for me. When I think of these guys, I think of the fun party songs, and this one kind of just missed the beat for me.
Yeah, it's got some interesting vocals. His rap's a little bit different. It's like a slow rap. So he's kind of singing, he's kind of rapping. Sometimes I have to admit that they over affect his rap vocals. They just kind of have like that scratchy, airy, weird kind of effect to him, almost to make him distorted like the guitar, but vocally. And sometimes I think they overdo it because he does have a good voice and he does have a good rap voice. And I think they kind of like take away from it sometimes by adding that effect too much.
And then next up we have Renegade, which kind of kicks it back up for me. I'm a big fan of this song. The guitar and the beatboxing are locked in rhythmically. It's a very rhythmic album, which I love. Like, you can really hum along to every song, the melody. And then the chorus opens it up. It's more of strumming instead of a pulsing kind of picking guitar riff.
It's a little more melodic.
Very melodic chorus. And I noticed you can kind of like sway along to it, like when it opens it up. It has that like keyboard synth in there too, which I liked. I kind of like the balance of this song.
Yeah, I think vocally the rap part goes a little bit better in this one with the bass line and the guitar part and everything else. I thought, it was kind of cool how it was really synced up. And then, like you said, it opens up and then they go back.
Right.
And this one had a good bounce back and forth, and I think they did a really good job with it.
Yeah. But for me personally, this song sounds very 2010. It's got that kind of...
I love that line.
Yeah.
It just hasn't aged super well.
Yeah.
It's kind of got that like badass, gritty rock loner anthem kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
Which is fine in certain cases, but for me, it's like the biggest evidence of it being a little bit aged for me.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's also, like we've talked about in previous episodes, it's all about what you're into as well. All genres and things like that. Then we have Egotastic, the second to last track. This was another one where guitar and sax are locked in with one another. They're kind of featured on this. The intro is like a little longer than I would have hoped with the beatboxing for the song to actually like kick in.
Yeah.
Kind of wish they shortened that up because the rest of the song is a lot of fun. It's a good beat. It has a good pulse to it. So it kind of lost me a little bit there, but it's definitely worth the wait, after that little beatboxing intro.
Yeah, you might be surprised, but this was my bottom song.
That's it, yeah.
I figured, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it just had to do with the lyrics and just the song in general. This one was like the corny song to me. Like, it was almost too dumbed down. Like, even someone as dumb as me was like, okay, now I feel like you're making fun of me on this one.
You're insulting my intelligence that I don't have. Yeah, I put down that this is where like the lead singer kind of shows his weaknesses a little bit, and then I wrote in my notes that he has Eddie Vedder syndrome on this track. He kind of puts a little bit of R into every other.
Well, you got egotastic, and it sounds like he's kind of saying egotistic, and that word in general is one of the reasons I like that word just doesn't work for me.
Bugging the hell out of you.
That word just doesn't work because the way he says it and the way he sings it and the way it's written, they just all don't work together.
Okay. The direction of the track isn't really what you wanted. Is that what you're trying to say?
You must be a producer, huh?
Quite.
Subscribe. And then the EP wraps up with, wow. I love this song. It's called Love Someone.
Yes. And
this is their take on the quintessential, 50s rock and roll song, I think. By the way, I want to someone at home, keep track of how many times we say quintessential on this podcast. We do drop that word a lot.
And thematic for me.
Yes, thematic elements. But yeah, this is their take on that style song. Has that classic call and response in the bridge vocally. The verses are arranged in that same way. This has an awesome sax solo in it that I love. And I thought it was a great way to end this EP. The whole way through, if you thought you didn't know what to expect from this EP and this band, wait until you hear this, and then now it's just a nice little surprise to end the EP.
Opposed to the last song where you said this is where the singer kind of shows some weakness, I thought the way they ended this album and this song shows what he can do.
Right.
Yes.
To me, all I could write, I didn't have any other words other than amazing ending. It was a perfect ending to an album.
Yeah.
It was a perfect ending to a song. This just really was... if they did the whole album with songs like this, it would have been even that much better.
Yeah.
I'm glad we all agree on this because I enjoy this track quite a bit. It kind of reminded me, I don't know if you see the influences of kind of like a Mambo No. 5 almost, especially right in the beginning, like the dun, 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 and also there's a lot of horns in it too, which are in Mambo No. 5. But that's a good thing because I really enjoyed it.
Bega.
When's 6 coming out? I thought he said he was going to release it during
Mambo
quarantine.
No. 6, really?
He tweeted out, he was like, if I get enough likes on this tweet or retweets or whatever it is,
Pretty
I'll
sad
release.
He didn't get enough.
Yeah.
You know what, maybe it's a good thing. but no, I enjoyed this track quite a bit. It's pretty fun. It was like the most fun that you can end the EP with.
It has great bookends.
I don't know. I'm just a big fan of when an album begins and ends the right way.
Yeah. This one hits it. I would say Love Someone is another party song too. I think that you throw that song on and you definitely have a lot of fun along with it.
So overall, let's label some songs here.
Let's do it.
My number one song, I think because it opens the album, is Breaking the Trend, just because it sets the tone, and the album for the most part fills that tone. It kind of sticks with it. It doesn't really veer too far from it. And I just thought it was a great, kind of kick in the balls right off the bat, just kind of let you know where you're about to go.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that earlier, how you said the opening and the closer were both pretty solid, because I thought my favorite was Love Someone.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that just the vibe that they kind of achieve on this song is quintessential. Like I said before, quintessential party music that you wouldn't be too shocked to hear at a party in 2010. I
think Tom is aging us.
Sorry, I don't want to be ageist.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's
still,
no. I know. I
was still in diapers in 2010.
I was 13. Was I?
He was a late potty trainer.
What was your favorite track, Joe?
I agree with Mike. Mine is Breaking the Trend as well. When I think of scratch track, I think of these guys. I always like to say,
I hope so.
Wait, what?
shit. When I think of scratch track, I think of this song.
I knew what you meant.
Yep.
That's really funny.
That was great.
Yeah, so when I think of scratch track, I think of this song. And I always try and say, like, if you want to get into this band, here's this album. I'm going to tell people, listen to this song. This is scratch track right here. So that's hands down my favorite. My least favorite track, I'm going to go with I'm Ready. It was between this or Egotastic, and I'm going with I'm Ready. Just didn't really hit it for me. A little slower than I had wanted. I think of them as, that party fun band. So I'm Ready.
My least favorite personally was Bad For You. I just the guitar riff was pretty repetitive for me. Thought it would have been better with real drums, but obviously you can't really have that. It almost sounded. It almost.
They should have hired one of us.
You should have.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors?
I could. But yeah, it was really not my favorite track personally. It almost sounded like a novelty track after a longer period of time listening to it, but.
Yeah, I sticking with Egotastic. I don't know, the word confuses me because
I don't think that's in the dictionary.
Is it even a word? Like
I have the dictionary. All the
I don't have the dictionary.
Oh, he's got it.
He actually does. I don't know, but I just thought it was kind of like a corny song. It was the one every time I hear it, I'm just kind of like, all right, I can go do something quick, and then I'll come back for the next song. Just never really stuck for me.
There was no results found for Egotastic.
Ooh, not even a word.
Not even a word.
Worse now.
There's Egotistic.
That's what I think he says all the time, and he's not, though.
I think that was their intention. Egotastic. I don't know what the tastic means. Fantastic?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, he's egotistical, but...
in a good way.
In a good way. Like,
Maybe
do that?
Maybe.
I don't know. Sometimes shit like that works. This song did not.
It did not work.
And it also doesn't help, too, that the rest of the album was lyrically, as we said, very simple.
Yeah.
And then now they're playing, like, with words and trying to make something a little different. And, I don't know, it just didn't really fit for me.
Okay.
Thinking about yourself too much. That's the line.
Exactly.
Think about yourself too much. My dark horse was was I'm Ready. I thought it was the interesting percussion for me. It's the way they kind of mixed it was pretty nice. Again, lyrics are still pretty vague, but that's fine for this. Kind of the bass worked well with it, and then all kind of built up into a really nice moment on the chorus.
Cool, yeah. My dark horse track was actually Love Someone, just because this song is not fitting for their style.
Okay.
It fits in their style, but it's their take on another kind of genre, and I thought because of that, it deserves some recognition, because I think Breaking the Trend is their go-to song if you're one of the 10 people in Connecticut that knows this band. Yeah, so that's my dark horse. Love Someone. You definitely check that out.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Love Someone was mine as well.
Cool.
I kind of labeled it as the dark horse of the sleeper because it was the last song.
Yeah.
So you kind of didn't, you were waiting for it the whole time. You know what I mean? Like
The full 16 minutes you're waiting.
Prior to it. Listen, when you have ADD, that's a problem. So even though I listed like Breaking the Trend as my number one, I mentioned it more for like, I think more about more than just the song. I think about placement of the song. I think about what the song's purpose was for the album. And Breaking the Trend for me was number one because without that song, the album doesn't start the same. Whereas, Love Someone ends it. I put it as my sleeper because, again, you don't hear it till the 16 minutes later. But personally, Love Someone's probably my favorite song on the album. I think it's probably the most well-written song on the album. I think it does its job the best. Even though I would label like Breaking the Trend as one, so that's just, I guess, a little bit more into my thought process that nobody will ever understand. But I hope you get what I'm saying.
It makes sense. All right, well then let's rate it, boys. How many bops are we giving it?
Oh, that's right, Bops. So
Go ahead, Tom.
So I thought this album was pretty like center of the road for me. It wasn't a style that I'm personally super into, but for what it was pretty quick. 6 tracks. It didn't overstay its welcome, really. They were kind of snoozy rock cuts for me, but they give off the vibes of like a pretty solid, like you said, they were a college touring band, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So from what they could do with 2 people, I thought it was pretty commendable. But for me, yeah, it was still pretty like middle of the road for me. So I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5 for me.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Personally, I think it's again, this is an album that there's a little bit of bias to, just because I did see them live and we met them, and you know, sometimes it's hard to get away from that. You try to be as, you know, unbiased as possible, but it happens. I gave it a 4. I gave it a solid. You know, again, it was like you said, it was quick. It did its job. It was a big jump from some of the earlier stuff. It had a lot more technically to it with the horns and the different instruments they threw in there. So I gave it a 4. You know, solid album. I would recommend it. You know, if it was longer, I honestly think it might have lost some bops, personally.
Ooh,
but,
little Bop loss?
You know, yeah, little Bop loss.
He's the guy that paints, right? Bop loss?
Yes, Bob Loss with the happy trees, yeah.
No, he paints sad trees, though.
Oh, right, yeah. Bob Loss, that's right.
That was even worse than the yellow joke.
Well, hopefully next episode Joel will have a shitty joke too.
Yeah,
thank
we
you.
can all even it out.
There's going to be a big joke we're going to talk about next episode.
Yeah, so I gave it a 4. I gave it a 4.
4.
Yeah.
Mike, I'm the same. I also gave it 4 out of 5 bops. You know, the personal connection was big, but also because it's just so different. It's a surprise. They're relatively unknown, and I think for where they are in the music pantheon, I think they did a great job. So 4 out of 5 bops.
Check the dictionary on that one.
Yeah, right. Pantheon.
Oh, you don't want the panties on.
No.
I was gonna say you're doing it wrong.
How about the beer boys? Let's
Punkin Ale?
Punkin Ale from Dogfish Head.
All right. Well, I don't give anything a 5 because it's just got to be absolutely ridiculous to be a 5. So I'm giving it a 4.5.
Okay.
I think it's hands down the best pumpkin beer out there. I mean, I've tried. Obviously, I haven't tried them all, but of all the ones I've tried, especially locally, in my opinion, it's the best pumpkin beer. It's got the best flavor. You can drink 1, you could drink 6. You know, they go down smooth. Just a great beer overall.
Yeah, I would have to give it a 4 hops out of 5 for me. Granted, I'm not a big pumpkin guy, like I said before, but I think the way that they do it on this is really solid. It's not overwhelming to the point of like, oh, you get, you know, pumpkin everywhere, you know. I think the way they kind of spice it up a little bit and add, you know, like you said, the brown sugar and the cinnamon and everything, I think it pairs very well with it. Almost like a pumpkin pie taste. So, yeah, 4 to 5 for me.
It's 4s all around for me today, so I'm giving this a 4 out of 5 hops. I really enjoyed this beer. I'm going to definitely drink it again for all the reasons I've mentioned. Yeah, so 4 out of 5. Definitely check this one out. All right, cool. Let's give some quick shout-outs.
Yeah, so Dogfish Head, Facebook, Instagram, their website. Website's great because it gives you details on all their beers that are available, when they're available, what to pair them with, when they made them. Just a great reference, especially if you're just into this and really want to kind of know some more about their beer. And they're not that far away, at least from us, Delaware.
Few hours.
They got a really cool like treehouse setup, like not treehouse the brewery, treehouse, like literally they have a treehouse in the middle of their place.
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Scratch Track, like we said, not together right now. No website, no Instagram. They do have a Facebook. So do us a favor, so I'm not the only one.
Very low key on Wikipedia.
Yeah, very low key on Wikipedia.
Halfway done.
Yep. So message them on Facebook if you're into that kind of thing. Tell them to get back together, so I'm not the only one still doing that. But however, their music...
What the fuck is this joke guy?
Yeah, right. Their music is available on all major streaming services, though. So please check them out and really give it a shot, because it's a really cool listen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right, episode 6.
Oh.
It's our Halloween special.
Oh, a little
So
spooky.
we're going to be dropping this on Saturday, October 31st. A little different than our Sunday usual, but we want this on Halloween because we will be talking about...
Michael Jackson's Thriller album.
Yes.
Yes, Thriller. We're doing it.
Yep, and pairing it with...
𝙎𝙞𝙧𝙚𝙣
Pumpkin Spice Cannoli Beer.
Ooh, more on that next episode. So do us a favor, if you're listening to us, you know, listen to the album prior to the episode so you know what the hell we're talking about.
Yep. Go and pick up 𝙎𝙤𝙧𝙚𝙣 Cannoli Pumpkin Beer ahead of time. Give it a shot.
And drink along with us, too, as you're listening.
Yeah, let us know how it pairs together, you know.
Not while driving, of course, though.
Of course not.
No. If you're listening to this on your way to work, we do not suggest that you drink the beer in the process.
We do not condone that.
It's a purely
We cannot tell you what to do.
Yeah.
However, we're just stating the obvious.
Exactly. Well, that wraps it up for this episode. Link up with us, Hops and Bops Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. We're streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your family, hop on board. For Mike and Tom, I'm Joe. We'll see you next time.
Peace.